$47,000. That's how much tech manufacturing companies are losing every single hour when the equipment breaks down. Field technicians on average made 847 support calls, most of them wait 30 to 45 minutes on hold, while million-dollar machines sat dead. Hi, my name is Edwin Chan, and I'm a conversational AI expert who's been helping 12 plus different medium businesses in building chat and voice agents for the past 6 months. What I'm about to show you is an exact solution for a leading B2B European metering company that handles 3,000 customer supports weekly. By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how we can eliminate 50% of their Zendesk support tickets and give their field technicians instant answers 24/7. First, I'll show you what they're struggling with. Then, I'll show you the exact problems costing industrial manufacturers millions in downtime. Lastly, I'll show you a live demo of the AI solution we're building to solve it. So let's dive in. If you're new to this channel, my name is Edwin Chan and I'm the co-founder of Legacy AI. I graduated from Oxford with a background in maths and deep learning, and now we are also VoiceFlow certified experts in an AI development company. In the span of 5 months, we've helped 12 plus different medium businesses building chat and voice AI systems like the one you see in this video, saving them over 100 plus hours of manual customer communications. So you're learning from someone who actually has implemented these systems for real businesses, not just theory. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So the client is basically a B2B metering solutions company, as you know, and they are manufacturing different hardwares, specifically meters, and they come with us with 3 main problems. The first problem is that they are currently handling 3,000 support tickets weekly, and their team of customer support is 13 different agents. These are, by the way, highly technical agents who have a very deep technical knowledge of the products, but you can probably imagine if every week dealing with you have to answer 3,000 support tickets, and you only got 13 people in your team, it starts to become a little bit unscalable. It starts to become a little bit of a headache, and it's not sustainable in the long, right? That's the first problem. The second problem is that for the company, they also have field technicians. The field technicians will go to the different companies, and they will go there and to help troubleshoot or help to install certain metering products, right? And a lot of the times, the field technicians actually end up calling the support team around 200 times plus per week, just to ask questions about troubleshooting and make sure they've got the technical details and specifications correctly from the appropriate products, right, from the support team. So that is from the customers directly contacting them through emails, etc., right? These are from the few technicians calling the support team for support, right? So these two, like that basically kind of overloads the already overloaded support team as well. So, and they're calling them 200 times a week, right? But it's limited because the field technicians are globally. So they have the company has global operations all over the world, but the support team is only limited to Swedish business hours because they're a Swedish company, so they're local. Like their support team is local in Sweden, but their field technicians is all around the world. So that creates a gap where if I'm on the operations in the UK and the Swedish has already closed their support team, they've gone off work, that creates a big gap between the field technicians having to wait till the next day to get the answers fixed, right? So they probably have some sort of delays, or they can't actually do their job properly because they don't have the correct support team supporting this at the moment, right? So that become a big problem on their part. I guess the last problem is that the client actually discovered that 50% of the tickets are quite repetitive, questions that could be automated. They have been exploring some sort of AI solutions. They play around with ChatGPT, they play around with custom GPT, and they found that very simple custom GPT that they made can already answer 50% of their tickets. Right. And the main problem is that every hour's delay costs field operations significantly, right? You can probably imagine if this field technician is delayed by an hour, there's more money that needs to be put in there, right? There's more money that their customers is already losing because their product is not up and running, right? So that's causes delay and causes field operations, right? So he's saying basically, well, if I build something on GPT, right, custom GPT, that can be already answering 50% of tickets. When we build a dedicated AI solutions that's scalable, one, that can be used by the website, right, through the emails on the website, that can answer the emails on the website of customers, but at the same time, actually be available to field technicians 24/7 when they make those calls, right? Can we do that? Well, the answer is yes. But before we dive into the solutions, let me actually kind of generalize just to see a bigger picture of the industry, right? So this problem is actually really common, and this actually can be generalized to the industrial manufacturer or B2B tech hardware industries, right? And the first thing of the kind of concept to be clear of is that most of these companies actually lose, these Fortune 500 industrial companies actually lose around $1.5 trillion due to unplanned downtimes. Like, if you think about really large manufacturing industries, etc., and plants, etc., they lose a lot of money just because some of their tech, some of the hardware is just down, right? And the cost of a single hour of this downtime has risen by at least 50%, right? To around $2 million per hour. So that's a lot of money just from being your hardware like down and no one's there to support it, right? That's the first pain point. The second thing to get your head around of is you're probably aware of if you're in the industry, something called first time fixed rates, FTFR. So that's a metric to measure the performance of industrial manufacturer or B2B hardware to basically tells you how quickly what's the percentage of field technicians that can actually solve the problems of these downtimes of this hardware the first time around. So if I can resolve it in my first visit, that means I don't have to schedule my second, third, follow-up visits, and I can solve the problem quickly, right? So that's a good metric to measure how successful these companies are, right? As it turns out, the best-in-class services of 2025, the best in the world has an 88% first-time fixed rate. The worst one only has 63%. That's more than a 20% gap. That's huge, right? 63%, you're talking about almost half the time that you need more scheduled visits, right? And that plays directly into this pain point where if I don't get it solved, I'm losing more money, right? The customers of these manufacturers are losing money simply because it's not fixed in the first time they visit, right? And each repeat visit adds a significant operational cost, both on the B2B hardware, both to the manufacturers and both to the clients themselves, right? Both of them add strain to the operational cost. And according to a report, I'm not just making this number up, you can look it up if you want, 2025 Field Service Benchmark Report by Equant, you can look it up if you want. Field technicians using AI support achieve 81% first-time fix, with 56% with traditional manuals. So if you give two groups of field technicians some sort of manuals, right, a booklet of manuals or some PDF, they can go read it, versus something that they can just chat in real time, this has a higher success rate than over this, right? So according to this study, right? And we'll dive into why that is, but I'm sure you have an idea. The third problem is 90% of these customers expect responses within 10 minutes, right? So, I mean, that's something new. It's just that customers expect that it's a quick fix. Like if I reach out to customer support, they should be able to answer it immediately, or the field technicians should be able to look at it and be like, this is exactly how we should solve this problem, X, Y, and Z, right? And if that doesn't happen, customers just dislike having to repeat information, different representatives. So again, they're all linked. It's linked back to the FTFR concept that we talked about. If these manufacturers have these field technicians that don't solve these problems immediately, and they have to schedule follow-up visit, their customers are not going to like it. One, having to repeat information, time wasting. Two, they're losing money, right? From this. So it's kind of a twofold disadvantage of not getting it fixed the first time. Well, and how do we get it fixed the first time? And according to statistics, it's by using sort of AI support, right? First time fix versus some sort of traditional methods, right? And that's where we can arrive to the solution of where companies implementing AI systems have seen 20% increase in FTFR, 40% faster response time, right? 20% increase in FTFR, solve this point. 40% faster response time, solve the third point, right? And 58% reduction in repeat visits, depending on context and the AI solution used. And that is according to the industry FTFR benchmarks report, right? I'm not, again, just making this up. So you can see that by using an AI solutions that can able to answer field technicians and the customers' questions about specifications or installations about troubleshooting about this manufacturer's product, they are able to, one, save money, right? Because this is costing their customer money. Two, able to fix it faster so themselves, the manufacturer, can save operational costs from these field technicians. Third, their customer satisfaction goes up. So it makes sense now why, right? You would explore something like an AI system or some sort of AI solutions to actually like implement these solutions, right? And you might ask, right, if you're one of these manufacturers, you ask, well, why can't I just hire more staff, right? I can just hire more support team. Why do I need to this, AI that, right? Just hire more people. One, sustainability. If your support ticket volume doubles from 3,000 to 6,000 per week, you would, if you're assuming a linear trend, you need to double your support staff, right? This linear approach is not, and the growth is not sustainable because there's hiring costs, there's also compensations like benefits, etc. So as you scale, your cost also goes up linearly, right? So that's not a really sustainable system to grow. Whereas if you have something like an AI system, you build it one time, you have some sort of implementation, development cost, and you have some sort of monthly support cost, like how you buy any software, and you have that up and running, right? It's more sustainable and more scalable than something like this, right? And by the way, right now we're kind of having a labor kind of shortage from the manufacturer hardware side in the market as well. So it's not always easy to just, hire someone who wants to do this customer support for these specific manufacturers, right? Second point, you're still not solving the problems of limited local business hours but global operations, right? If you have global operations and you're based in France, if you're based in Sweden, if you're based in Germany, the support, you are entirely depending on the operating hours of the support team, right? That means if you want to cover 24/7 for your global operation, you need to hire and manage at least 3 full shifts of employees, tripling the cost. So I'm hiring 3 employees just to cover the 24 hours time frame to cover the global operation issues, right? You can see this is, again, highly unsustainable. The third thing is speed and consistency, right? I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, right? We're all humans. If your support team is already overloaded from having answered so many customer support tickets, they're not going to have the same quality when you answer the first ticket to the 3,000 ticket, right? I know I'll be burnt out if I have to sit all day and answer the same questions over and over and over again. By the end of my shift, I will be tired. I won't put in the same quality of work as before, right? So that's where the consistency comes from. Whereas something like the AI solutions, they have the same consistency. Same quality answers depends on how well engineered the system is. And that is why AI solutions is quite attractive to the B2B hardware / industrial manufacturing space. And we see this directly with our client, right? With this metering solutions company. So just to give you some context about what the solution looks like. As with other industrial manufacturing companies, as with any industrial manufacturing companies, they have a bunch of these different menus, right? They have a bunch of different menus. They have front of cautions like connecting to how to connect to a device, how to access the web interface, factory settings, specs, troubleshooting guide, etc. Right? Nothing uncommon. So we're building an AI chat agent, right? So we're building an AI chat agent that can actually help answer all these different menus, of these 200 different menus, which will be passed properly to a database. So the AI solutions can have access to that and use that as a reference to provide accurate troubleshooting guides. So let's see what happens. Hey there, welcome to ABC. How can I help you today? I need help installing, let's say, SIM 2100, which is a specific metering model used by the company, right? So let's see how the response actually looks like. So if say, great, you're looking to install the CMB module, he will walk us through step by step. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, server communication. Step 4, final checks, right? So it's actually breaking it down detailed step by step, the steps needed to take in order to actually do these communications, right? And you might ask, right, a lot of you in the European market, they don't speak English. What if they want to speak in French, in Swedish, right? How do you do that? Well, I don't speak French, but so let me just go ahead and ask this question. Why my device is sending me empty files to FTP server? I'm going to go ahead and copy the French equivalent of that and see what happens. It's read me in English, but I'm talking it in French. Now, as you can see, it's again giving me a good response back in French. That's the beauty of it. Because AI technology is multilingual, meaning it can speak pretty much any languages in the world. If I speak in French, it will automatically detect the language and output the appropriate language that you used it to. So if I speak in German, it will try to output German as well. So it's language independent, right? So it's language independent from using, right? So hopefully that gives you an idea of the solution, what's going to look like. Obviously, that's the solution that's been used by the field technicians and also the solutions from the customers on the website emails. But we've also actually gone ahead and built a different version of it, a different equivalent of it, which is actually in the backend. It's not customer facing. It's basically, they use something called Zendesk. If you didn't know, Zendesk is basically a customer support platform, and they use Zendesk here, and they will receive this kind of email queries. And what it's going to do is actually going to connect to this VoiceFlow, which is one of the platforms we're using, which is this VoiceFlow AI solution that we built. And afterwards, after it's passing through the AI solution, it's going to go ahead and draft a draft email response for review. So it's not actually replying to the customers, but a human will be there to inspect it. And then the human will go ahead to inspect it to see if it's good or not. If it sounds good, it's going to go ahead and import, right? So make sure some sort of quality control in this backend system. So essentially, we built these two equivalent solutions for these companies. Now, if you're sitting there and you're one of these industry and you want to kind of just have a feel, like just to have a talk about what it looks like, feel free to use the link in the description and the top comment to book a free discovery call with me and my team where we can explain to you what we're seeing in the market, what kind of solution makes sense specifically for your business, and we would love to learn more about your specific company and see how we can actually help it. It's completely free. Or if you're not ready for a conversation yet and you want to try it out yourself, you can do that. You can use the screen. There's probably some sort of video link on the screen right now that you can see where I've done a 2-hour beginner breakdown to VoiceFlow, which is a low-code platform that you can use to build this AI agent. So you don't need to code to start with. And I've done a 2-hour tutorial where you can start building with me, try yourself, DIY to see if it works, and we can go from that way. That works as well. So yeah, hopefully you gained something, you've learned something from this video if you're in this industry. But yeah, if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, comment, and like. And if this video gets over 100 likes, I will do a full technical breakdown of this solution. So if you get this 100 likes, I'm going to do that. So again, hope you like it. See you in the next one.